What is up YouTube, Synchron here, and I've got another deck profile for you guys today. This one is 6 Samurais. The reason why I am making a deck profile of 6 Samurais is, of course, Xian's Smoke Signal has gone back to 3, which makes the deck a bit more consistent and a bit more viable. I am running the Asceticism build on Jordan Network, and I am thinking of running this deck in real life. So if you guys have any comments, opinions, feedback, anything like that, just leave it in the comments below, and I'll read it, make adaptations, and maybe make another deck profile in the long run. So let's just get into the deck profile, and I'll explain some cards and bits and bobs as I go through. So obviously you run the 3 Cage Musa, sorry. It's a tuner of the deck. It's really nice with Kaigeki, goes straight into Xian, and also Hyper Librarian, which is really nice in the deck, because obviously if you summon Hyper Librarian and then sync again, you can just start drawing into cards you need. So it's a really nice card, and also obviously along with Kizan, it makes your rank level 6s, sorry, so it makes you like Barkion and your Beast. So those are obviously amazing cards in a 6 Samurai deck as well, but I'll get onto them later. Then you run obviously 3 Kizan. You can special summon this monster basically when you when you control another 6 Samurai monster with a different name. So you could basically go Cage Musa, Kaigeki, Kizan in one turn. It's not happened to me yet, but I have done it in real life a few times back in a couple of formats ago when I ran 6 Sams without a few of the cards in this particular build. Then I run 3 Elder of the 6 Samurai. It's basically a Cyber Dragon for the deck, so obviously it gives you field presence when you don't have any, and also you can special summon this and then obviously go off with the likes of Cage Musa, Kizan, etc. The plays I kind of explained just a minute ago. Now I only played 2 Kaigeki. I don't see the need of 3 Kaigeki. 2's good enough for me. Some people like 3, some people even play 1, but 2's really nice for me, because obviously once you summon this you can then special your Kizan without having to use Kizan's effect, and then obviously you can special summon another Kizan, or obviously you can get your other level 4 6 Samurai monsters, i.e. the other 3 I've got in the deck, which I'll go over in a second. I run the 1 copy of Grandmaster of 6 Samurai, basically the boss monster of the deck. I hardly ever play this actually, because I'm normally either exceeding into my obviously XYZ monsters, or I am synchroing for my synchro monsters, so it doesn't really come out much, but when it does come out it's a really nice card. It's a 2100 beta essentially, and you can special summon it from your hand if you control another face-up 6 Samurai monster, which is really nice because obviously pretty much every card in the deck you can special summon if there's another 6 Sam, or you can special summon another 6 Samurai if there is one on board or through its effect. Then I run 1 copy of Anishi. It's basically just a really good banishing card against stuff like Mermos. You can drop this, banish 2 Samurai monsters from your grave. Oh, sorry, not against Mermo, sorry. I've read the effect wrong earlier on. But anyway, you can banish 2 6 Samurai monsters from your grave and target 1 face-up monster from the field and return the target to hand. So it can be good against the likes of Mermos, as I said. Fire Fists is quite nice against, and Fire Kings, because with Anishi you can send Garunix back to hand, therefore its effect won't go off, plus they have to waste resources to bring it back onto the field. So that's a really nice card against Fire Fists. Mermils, obviously you can get rid of things you don't like the look of, i.e. Abyss Megalos and Mooling Glaciers. So it's a really good viable card to run in the deck. I was considering running 2, but I thought that might be a bit too much, so I cut it down to 1, and 1's worked really well for me. Then I run the 1 Iru. It's really nice if you don't like facing gears. You can just attack with Iru over the face down gear armor, and it will basically destroy it without damage calculation or anything. So even if the monster's defense is higher than Iru's attack, you can just attack over it, it gets destroyed. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I see people not running this card, but obviously it's an older card, so I think people have kind of forgotten about it with the new stuff coming out, but it's a really good card to have in the deck. So if you have one and you do run 6 Samurais and you don't have it in your deck, I will say to you now, consider playing it or play test it. If you don't like it, that's fine, but I love it in this deck. Then obviously I run the 1 copy of Sanji. Again, like Iru, it just basically attacks through monsters really quickly, really nicely. Then I run one Hand of the Six Samurai. This card's I was gonna run two of, but then I was like, one's gonna be kind of enough, because obviously if you control another Six Samurai, you contribute one Six Samurai, target one monster on the field and destroy it. So it would be nice at two, but I found two a bit too cloggy sometimes. I know it can't clog, but I just found that I had two in hand. I'd summon one Hand of Six Samurai, and next turn I could go off with like Cage Musa, Kizan and stuff. So I thought, well, one's going to be enough. Then I run double Max Seed basically for the meta, because obviously mirror match you can just draw off of them so badly. Same with Mermails, Fire Fists, everything like that. You can basically just draw off of every time your opponent tries to go off. Then I run 3 Asceticism. It's really good card for Six Samurais. You can basically special summon a Six Samurai monster from your deck with a different name but the same attack to the current monster you have out on field that you've selected for the effect to resolve, so that's really nice. Then obviously under the March ban list I run 3 Shien Smoke Signal. Searches out your Alders and your Kaigekis and also your hands, so it's a really nice card to have at 3 because it just gives you a bit more versatility. I only run the 2 copies of United. I found 3 a bit too much, a bit too cloggy again, so I thought 2 would be enough. Play tested 2 was great, so I only run the 2 copies of United. Obviously 1 Gateway. There's not much to say about Gateway. It's just a great card to drop on field as soon as you possibly can because your opponent can't really get around it. Then I run 2 MST and Heavy Storm for back row removal. 1 Dark Hole in case I have a decent field but my opponent has a better one. Just Dark Hole the field and then reset from there. 1 Monster Reborn in conjunction with Dark Hole when your monster either gets sent to graveyard from your Exceed plays, from obviously detaching, or your synchro plays, or even if it gets destroyed you can just reborn it and your opponent has to get over it again, which is really nice. 2 Bottomless Trap Holes. This is really good against Mermails. They'll special summon a monster, you just drop Bottomless Trap Hole on them and they can't get it back, so unless they're playing something like Different Dimension Reincarnation, which I don't see any Mermail decks playing, so that's why I drop 2 Bottomless in there. 2 Compulse, pretty self-explanatory really. It just sets your opponent back a turn. 2 Deep Prisons, same as Bottomless Trap Hole, just removes things that I don't like. I can't speak. I run 1 Double-Edged Sword Technique. It's a really nice card because you can obviously go Kaigeki, Cage Musa with the Double-Edged Sword Technique and go into a Shien if you haven't already, or you can go Kizan Kaigeki. Wait, sorry, no, not that. Cage Musa Kizan, sorry, and get out Beast or Barkon if you haven't brought them out already. And then I run 1 Solemn Warning and 1 Solemn Judgment, both pretty self-explanatory. It just stops my opponent from going off. Onto the side deck, I run 1 Chimeratech Fortress and double Cyber Dragon for any machine decks I come against, along with 2 System Downs. Effect Vader is going to be, as I said in my last Macro Monarch deck profile. If you haven't watched that already, guys, I'll try and link it on the video somewhere so you can go and have a look at that. But as I said in that one, I think Effect Vader is going to be a great card next format. Well, March format, sorry. So that's why I run 2 copies in my side decks. If Maxi's not doing anything for me in the matchup I'm currently in, I'll just side it out for Valers and go from there. Again, 2 Gozen match. I explained why I run Gozen match in my side in my Macro Monarch deck profile, and I'll explain it again here. It's just for wind-up matches because there's still going to be the odd 1 or 2 here and there at regionals, locals, etc, and that Gozen match will be really nice against. I run 2 Fiendish Chain, same as Effect Veiler, but it's just obviously a trap card. Normally I will side out my 2 Solemns for Fiendish Chains, solely because sometimes Solemns don't do much against certain decks. I run 2 Imperial Iron Wall because you do not want your 6 Samurai monsters being removed from play, because then you can't activate your Double-Edged Sword Technique, your Monster Reborn. So Imperial Iron Wall is a must in a side deck for 6 Sams. In my personal opinion, you might think differently. And obviously I run 2 Dust Tornadoes for Fire Fists, because you just don't want them to have spell or trap cards on the field. Then to my extra deck, I run obviously the 1 copy of Xian, self-explanatory really. Same with TG Hyper Librarian. It's just a nice card to have, because obviously you're going to be synchroing quite a bit in this deck with Cage Musa, Kizan and Kaigeki all tying in together, and obviously Alder can be worked into that as well, along with the other cards. But those are the 3 main cards you're going to be using for synchroing. So TG Hyper Librarian is a really good card to have in the deck. 1 Naturia Beast. Obviously this card is really good against the likes of Fire Fists, Mermills, pretty much most decks that are out in the current meta, so that's why I run Beast, plus you kind of have to in 6 Samurais. Same with Barkion, really nice card to have in the deck, kind of have to run it in 6 Samurais. Scrap Dragon and Stardust Dragon, generic level 8s, pretty self-explanatory there. Now onto the Exceeds, and I run 1 Shadow of the 6 Samurai Xian. It just plays really well when you've got Kizan special summoned from either your Kaigeki play, or even if you have something like Iru, Inishi, Zanji on field, you can just drop Kizan, go into Shadow of the 6 Samurai Xian pretty quickly. Abyss Dweller for the Mermail matchup, pretty self-explanatory. Then I've got Blade Armor Ninja and Excalibur. Both you have to run in 6 Samurais because they're so easy to bring out, because they're both warriors. They both need warriors to be bring out, and obviously every single card bar the 2 maxis and obviously your side deck cards are warriors. 1 Gagaga Cowboy, pretty generic for a extra deck. Maystroke, I explained why I run this in my extra deck in Macro Monarchs. It's just really good and the best generic rank 4 in the game at the moment. Then I run 1 Leviair, 1 Leviathan and 1 Zen Mains for if I have, I don't know, Alders, Kaigeki, hands on the field and I haven't got any synchros to go into, I'll just go into one of these 3 and just kind of mix up a bit and do something a bit different. Anyway guys, that's been my 6 Samurai deck profile. If you have any feedback on A, my videos, or B, my actual deck profile itself, then just let me know in the comments below guys. I'll be sure to get round to reading them all. I'll reply to most if I can. Please subscribe to my channel to see more of my content. Click the like button if you liked the video, and I shall see you in my next deck profile.